Welcome to the Astro Imaging Journey channel. Please enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome back to the channel. And well, it's reveal time. Boat is 95-97% complete. So let's take a look at it. And I'll walk you through what I've done and what is the two items that are left to be done. All right, let's take a look at it. All right, there we go. So as you can see here, it is almost complete. You might see one of the items I need to work on, but let's take a quick look at what I've done here, and we'll just start up here at the bow and work our way back. So as you can see here, right there, I've put nav lights on it. Now, is it really required for a Jon Boat that I'm only going to be using during the day? No, but if I get stuck out there or we're out there with the family, grandkids or whatever, and it turns to dusk or nighttime, they are required by the Coast Guard, so they're on here. Next, you can see nice carpeted deck, 3/4 inch plywood, 3/4 inch plywood all the way back on the deck. And when we get back into the well, you'll see that it's 1/2 inch. Right here we got our forward connection for our trolling motor. Nice and recessed in there. Looks really nice. Nice little cap. Nice little cap to keep it somewhat protected from the water. From about here forward, so from here forward, we've got this whole cavity is filled with foam insulation for flotation. Over here, you're going to see a little eye bolt. Okay, let's take a look at that. Now, I'll show you what that's for here in a second, but it's for the dock. You can see I put some rod holders on here, little quick release jobbies. You just pull out on this little knob right here, and then you can slide that out, put your rod in, lock it in, and according to the manufacturer, if this flat side over here is facing the stern, then it's set up so that this can be in a trolling setup. I did put the extensions on here because, as you can see, the handle would be sticking out back here, and if I had it on the low profile, because it's sitting on the deck, really couldn't have used it, so I had to get these extensions, and so it would raise it up a little bit. The other nice thing about this is it does have this little push button back here. Hopefully I can do this one-handed. Can turn it any which way I want, or remove it so that while I'm storing it and I have the cover on it, you know, this can be down here in this hatch, and out of the weather, it's not holding the canvas up too much or put in a pressure point that could eventually wear through. And then we just push the button again, locks it in there, and as you can see, it can be done with one hand if need be. So, and we got another one on that side. Now up here, let's you can see our forward hatch. And here's what I was talking about for that eye bolt. Here's my dock lines. Instead of having a dock line permanently up here, I put these little clasps with an eyelet on the back, and right there I can use it as need be. Take it up to the dock, pull it off my trailer, secure it to the dock, and then when I'm done, I can store it away in the hatch. As you can see, I've got some, you can see some insulation poking through back there. I did put a board here to keep that insulation from shifting rearward. One of the problems I have is, as you can see, yeah, there is the fishing pole over there that's in the way, but I did not cut it properly. I need to take off about somewhere about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, somewhere in there, before this will sit down in there. So I'm debating right now if I'm going to cut a new piece and carpet it, or just cut this one down and then seal the rear. Carpet is nice and glued in, so it's not a problem. But as you can see here, let's look down in here. You can see I got my life vests in there. There's ample room. My lighting cables are up, so they're not laying down. Ton of room in there. Well, not a ton of room, but there's a fair amount of room. You can see all the way in the back there, I've got a board to separate the battery compartment from the storage compartment. So continuing to move rearward, you can see we've got our seat here. It is a swivel seat. Right now it's not moving because it's locked. So all we do is just move this lever down and the seat spins freely. So right now I just have it locked in this position right here. Now another nice thing I like, I did spend the extra couple dollars. There is a handle over here. It's just like your office chair. Come on, focus. It is just like your office chair. Lift up and it'll raise up. Press down and you can lower it. Gets from about this height up to about 19-20 inches. So this is about 13 inches. So if you're like me and you're 6'1", then you can raise it up, get you some leg room, or if you're like Tina, a little bit shorter, you can lower it down so that your feet can be on the deck. The other thing that I splurged on with this particular one is we can push in on this tab right here, and I can remove this seat. It's a little heavy, but I can remove it, store it, do whatever I need to do. If I'm going to be solo, I can take this off, use this as a platform, and I don't need the bow seat. So that's a nice little feature to have. These are only rated to 5 miles an hour, so if I ever get to the point where I put the gasoline engine on here and I'm doing greater than 5 miles an hour, clearly we don't want to have anybody sitting in here for safety reasons. But we know how we are. We probably will. Moving on back, you'll see along the back, let's get that along over there, got rod holders. And here as well, we can see, let's do a little shot like this. There we go. So 3 rods on each side. Currently I only have 5 rods in here, but that's all the rods I have. Let's move this over. So this hatch here, you'll see that this is just here. These rods are in there pretty secure, but this is just to help if one does pop out, just help keep it down in there. it's not there for anything to keep the boat on the trailer. I'll show you that here in a second. This hatch here actually fits pretty nice. And you can see I've got my 2 batteries in there, 27 series, die-hard silvers, 600 cold cranking amps with 160 reserve capacity. Should be plenty of capacity for out there full day trolling along, doing some fishing, or just having some fun with the trolling motor, as well as power all the electronics that I'll show you here in a second. You probably saw this in one of the previous videos. I've got a positive terminal block here and a negative terminal block here. This is for the lights that are up here in the front, which we'll show you here in a little bit. But if I wanted to put anything on that switch, then that is already there. Moving on back, you'll see right now I've got radio. There we go. Radio over here, and 2 6.5-inch speakers mounted into this wall, and these walls are all 1/2-inch plywood. Continuing on to this side, you'll see up here in the front, electrical connection. Now this right here, I'll show you where it goes to here in a second. Allows you to connect your extension plug or extension cable into a standard plug here, and then this has an extension cable that runs into the battery compartment, and from that I've got my dual bank charger in there. I've got a 2-position, or excuse me, I think they actually call it a 4-position switch, but it's a 2 battery switch. Battery 1, battery 2, and then 1 plus 2. So let's get that focused in. There we go. Battery 1, battery 2, and a mix position so that you can draw from both in case you are severely low on both and you need to draw from both. Or if you just want to run from both. But personally, I will probably run on 1 and then rotate it through over to 2 if I ever need to. And then we've got our switch panel. It's got a standard vehicle power plug, aka cigarette lighter adapter, voltmeter, 2.1 amp USB charger, dual port, and then 5 switches. First switch is my stereo, second switch is the lights. You already saw the stereo. The lights are my well lights up front for the storage area. Depth sounder, also known as fish finder, and running lights or nav lights. And then this one is, I've already got a terminal on it, but it's currently not being used. So if I ever add anything in the future, it's right there. So now what I want to show you is you can see right there is the other end of that plug, and then that connects to my dual bank charger right there. No code dual bank charger. As you can see, they're both green. They've been sitting on the charger for a couple days, so they are all ready. Now the 2 items that I do need to fix, I already told you the front hatch. I need to cut that down a little bit, and then also in that hatch and this hatch, I need to put my hatch lock. So those are the only 2 items right now that need to be completed, and this boat will be done. Continuing on to the rear, you see same setup for the seat. 2 more of our rod holders back here. Another eye bolt here, and right now I've got one of those clasps, and that is for my anchor. So let's get a better shot of that. There we go. So that's got my anchor connected to it right now. One of the reasons why I went with using this is I do have these cleats that I would secure the anchor to once it's in the water. This is just more so that if I lose control of the anchor and it slips out of my hand or whatever, then at least it'll be on here and not gone. So this also allows me to not have it permanently affixed to either the bow or the stern. I can put this into the bow, and we can use the bow point also for anchoring. Over here, you'll see we have our rear nav light, our white 360-degree light. Whether it's the proper one or not, it's not really that high, as you can see, but it is what it is. It does have the knob, so it'll stay upright, or I can put it down for when I'm transporting and storing. And then finally, we've got the Garmin Striker 4. I can't remember, was this the CV model? Either way, yeah, it's, you know, we commonly have referred to them as fish finders, depth finders, whatever you want to call them. Let's do a little demonstration of the panel here. So if we put it over here, I'm going to take the electrical plug out. I'm going to switch this over to position 1. You can see I've got 13 volts right now. None of these light up. That was one of the things I liked about this switch panel, is these LEDs do not light up until you actually turn something on. So if I turn the front panel lights on, now the LED comes on to tell you that it's actually on. So let's go ahead and put our depth finder on. I did set it up so that just like you can set up a computer, it will come on when it receives power. Bunch of different modes. I might do a review after I use this. It's not a touch screen. Keep forgetting that. But if we were in the water, we would see, yeah, interesting that it thinks there's fish in my concrete. But you know, we'll do a demonstration of that when I'm in the water, when I get out there. But let's get out of this. Let's turn that off. And radio's the same way. Just turn the switch, and you can see it lights up automatically. And it is Bluetooth. It is a marine radio, so I can have some tunes out there if I'm trying to get from point A to point B, and I know I'm going to be about 15-20 minutes or whatever. I can listen to some tunes, and then or a podcast, get to my spot,
do a little fishing, or if we're just out there with the family, we can have some tunes and a good old time while we're out there puttering around on this thing. So let's turn that off, and let's take a look at the let's take a look at those lights in the. All right, so I'm gonna, now that we're in position, I want to turn those lights on real quick. So as you can see, they're LED strips. I've got them both in this section of the storage compartment as well as up here. So if it's nighttime or whatever and I'm fiddling around, I've got some lights in here to be able to see when I need to do, or if it's in the garage or whatever and just don't feel like walking over to the wall and turning the lights on, I can do so from my panel. Now let's take a look at those so let's take a look at the nav light back here. So let's get in position. Pretty bright. It's labeled to meet the Coast Guard specifications of 1 nautical mile visibility at night. It is LED, so it's low draw on the power. And then on the bow, we've got our lights there, also LED to minimize the draw on power from our batteries. And lastly, you can see with the Garmin came a new transponder. So let's get that in focus. There we go. So that's, I did have to remove the old transponder from the other depth finder that was broken, and drill a couple new holes, fill in the old holes, and yeah, it was that was fun. So when I get this thing out on the water for the first time, that's the first thing I'm going to be watching is, are these holes, did I seal them correctly? Am I getting any leaks from either the holes that I had to plug or the new holes I had to drill? And then lastly, we've got our tray right here. This tray is 12 inches by 20 inches. Should accommodate the standard fuel cans or fuel tanks for outboard motors when I get one to put on here. And the final thing is, you can see here, 1/2-inch piece of plywood, painted it black after I had sealed it, or urethaned it rather. And over here you can see I've got another one of these quick disconnects for the battery. And you can see our electrical lines coming up, and marine grade shrink wrap and everything for our lights, and we also got our transponder cable here. But so with this setup, with a port up here and a port back there, or up in the bow, I can run my trolling motor either on the stern or the bow, and it's an easy, quick electrical connection, as opposed to having to undo wire nuts and all that good stuff. So let's look back here. As you can see, there's my trolling motor right now. It's leaning up against the wall. I need to get it off here. And As you can see, there's my other connection. There we go. There's my other connection to allow me to go bow or stern. And of course, connections are pretty solid. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Oh, the only other thing I have is ratchet strap right here, which I will put across the back of the boat to, when I'm transporting it, keep it married to the trailer. And yeah, so with that, I'm going to say this boat build is pretty much done. Let me get me in focus. Hey, there we go. So this boat build is pretty much done. Like I said, about 95, 97% done. Depends on how much on that front hatch I need to do. And the two connector or the locks, and one on the battery hatch and one on the front hatch, and we're good. Now, one thing I did mention, or I failed to mention, is this area back here. I originally was going to make this a hatch and have it as storage, but I quickly realized that there just was not enough flotation in here, so this is 100% full of insulation. There's actually more insulation in this area right here than what I pulled off when I removed the seats. So between the flotation that's in the bow and the flotation that's back here, I am very confident that this will not be sitting at the bottom of the lake if for some reason it starts to take on water. I do plan on putting in a sump pump at some point if I ever put a gas motor on here. But for now, just the little electric only lakes, I'm not too worried about it. So we'll cross that bridge when the time comes. So with that, I'm going to say thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're staying safe and healthy out there. Next video is going to be, well, next video in this series will be the final video, and that's going to be the Maiden Voyage, which will hopefully be this afternoon. It's about 53 degrees right now. I'm hoping for it to get to about 62, 63. I'm going to get out there on the water and make sure she's watertight, make sure everything's working, and then yeah, we'll see how it goes. So hopefully it doesn't end up testing that flotation, and we'll be good to go. So, and yeah, maybe try to do a little fishing, but just going to be a quick trip out on the water, troll around, make sure everything's working, and then head home and possibly fish next weekend. So with that, again, thanks everybody for watching. Stay safe and healthy out there, and have a good one. Thank you for watching yet another video from the Astromancy Junior channel. Really appreciate your viewership. In our upper right, we have the latest video we've uploaded. In our lower right, we have what YouTube might think you would enjoy. And in the lower left is our subscription button. Please like this video, subscribe if you so choose. As always, clear skies, have a good one,